Hello everybody, today is day 23. Is it really day 23? Do I have my days mixed up? Is it really the 20th? Yes it is, because it is my sister's birthday. I was just about ready to go check my phone, but I did not. So today is the 23rd of March, day 23 of Lenormarch. And I am trying to get things done today. It's been one of those days, and it's hilarious that today is the key and the fish, which is all about money, because I just had to spend a ton of money on my car. What are you going to do, though, right? You just have to roll with it. What am I looking for? The key and the fish. But I think it's pretty funny that it has to happen today. Now, this is the LVJ deck, and it is not very traditional, but I decided to go with it anyways. So here we have the keys card and the fish card. Now this shows a keyhole, blah, 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 but you know, if you know it's the key, you know it's the key. And so we have the key and the fish. Now the key is all about success, right? Especially if you look into your handout that I had for you that are more new to things. The key is about success, certainty, and it's the answer. Yes, everything's great. Success, you did it. Well, all is well. No, you know, it really is that big kind of, it's official success card. It's definitely in the, I say that, but let me make sure. Yes, it's definitely in the positive, so it's fully positive, as is the fish card. So both of these are actual positive cards. So they're not neutral, they're not positive neutral, they're positive cards. Now the fish, in terms of, let me pull it back up here, is about money, it's about material things, and it's about resources. It's also about abundance. If it's not something that's about money matters, I tend to think of it along the lines of abundance. Now, I don't know that that's necessarily traditional. I'm going to take a peek in another book, and again, I know this isn't maybe exactly a traditional book. But I'm just going to peek and see. Of course, I can't find it. Financial fluid exchanging and liquid. So, it can be something that is fluid, something that is flowing. So I definitely get that idea. I don't truthfully in this particular book see the idea of abundance. Let me check just for the sake of research. And I know you say you should, have all this researched out beforehand, and you're probably right, but I'm kind of doing these on the cuff when I have to do a daily kind of thing like this. I tend to just roll with it because my purpose on these are not to go overly deep, but to stay fluid and stay in a way that's going to be successful for the new people. My goal isn't to be really in depth with each of the card meanings. That would be a whole nother set of Lenormarches and would take much more in-depth all around. And our point of this particular series from my perspective is to just get everybody in there and messing with it and talking about it and playing with them and getting decks and getting interested in these kinds of things. So traditional 19th century meanings. This is from Mr. Andy's book. If near a person, acquisition of a large fortune, far away, maybe not, failure of that. Wealth by sea. Core meanings are commerce, trade, money, wealth, finances, profit, prosperity, matters related to the sea. So prosperity is about abundance. Alternate meanings: abundance, plenty, a multitude, luxury, freedom, all these kinds. So abundance and plentifulness is part of the traditional meanings according to Mr. Andy, and I quite like his book, as I said, because it's very traditional, and he kind of shows the really traditional meanings as well as the more modern meanings, and I quite like that. So far throughout this month, I will say that Mr. Andy's book is one that I am going to quite highly recommend, just for kind of a traditional overview of everything. I'm quite happy with it. So I'm not sure where I was when we're called, but here we have the key to success. So we have success. What kind of success? This could be finding this next to it. If they came up next to it, you could think this is financial success, or else success is going to be abundant, right? So here we have, again, we've got money, depending on the question. So either money, finances, wealth, resources. There are going to be resources. What kind of resources? Successful resources. Or this could be an indication that resources is the key to success. We got to look at our resources, make sure we're using our resources wisely, those kinds of things. But remember that these are both positive cards, so they are going to lift up any negative cards and any neutral cards into the positive zone. So for example, that's one thing to remember about, this continuum that I keep talking about. I know I keep harping on this, but I really think that this is an excellent way to kind of really get a handle on the different cards. Because if we have a neutral thing, so if we have something that is a decision to be made, right? Well, then there's going to be a successful decision. It's going to make this to be a positive decision, and the outcome is going to be more inclined to be positive because this is neutral, but this is positive, and it pulls it up. So having an understanding of these cards and how it is that they are positive, positive, neutral, 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 negative, and negative, and how they play off each other, I actually do think is quite important, and I think it's a really good thing to get a handle on at the beginning stages of Lenormand, because that's just going to enhance you as you go along on your particular journey. Now, okay. I was just moving some things out of the way. I'm quite loving this. I have another video on an unboxing that I had where Alex sent me this beautiful piece of malachite, and it has, I really like the feel of it. And I know this is completely random. I also have this piece of, I have a bookmark here in my handy dandy book that Miss Maureen sent me. Lepidolite, and I actually bought this on Etsy. It was a worry stone. Now this is a much smaller worry stone than I was expecting it to be, but I do still love it, and I will still be probably getting some more of this because this is supposed to be very calming, very healing, and Etsy told me about this stone, or that she was looking about getting a bracelet with this stone, and so I looked at the properties and I thought, well, that's amazing. I better get some of that. Might be handy dandy for me this week, and it came in today just in time for the weekend. I think it's quite beautiful. It's hard to see on camera, but there are little flecks of silver in it, and I'm quite in love with it. So yeah, just pointing that out there. This is completely off target, isn't it? Because I am just wandering about in the halls of Lenormarch this week. Just everybody has to hopefully be so very patient, because I tell you what, just getting these things done is just, to me, I'm considering it to be an accomplishment, even if it's a little haphazard. So one of the questions that I have here is to tell us your key to financial success. I don't have that key of financial success to share with you because I just had to spend, $800 of my hard-earned dollars on my car, my used car. No, my car is a lovely, sweet used car. I do personify cars and many other physical acquisitions. So Serenity is the name of my car, and she's a sweetheart, and she just needed some tender, loving care so that she can continue to be a sweetheart for a very long time. So, no, really though, I say, what does abundant success, which doesn't have to relate to money, look like to you? And do you have a plan in action or otherwise to get there? So that's a really good question. That's a little rude because I wrote it. But that is a good question because I truthfully don't believe that success has directly related to money or resources or finances. And I did get this question a lot, after Michael had died. A lot of people, because I had not really been able to work, I stayed home, and because it, cost healthcare or cost for taking care of a sick child would have been way out of reach of anything that I could have made to replace that money. And things like, my graduate schooling and things like that had been put on hold when things got worse. And so, but I did get a lot of questions fairly quickly by well-meaning people. I always think, I try to err on the side of caution that all these things are well-meaning, but a lot of it was, well, now you can finally look to a successful career. Like, what are you going to do? What is your business plan? What are you going to do to start, being successful? I think that literally was asked by a person, again, who well-intentioned, but it really struck me as wrong at the time. Of course, it was very close after, but it wasn't the only person. And I thought, really? I consider my life to have, to this point, been very successful. I was still functioning. I was, at the time, I had successfully been on my own and taking care of myself, at least not success in terms of monetary, but the bills were paid and food was paid and those kinds of things. I had 2 wonderful children who were a credit to me and their father, and were wonderful citizens of the world, and both of my children were just amazing, strong human beings, and that to me was success. That was a great deal of success, and so it really did, kind of put me aback, because it was kind of like, oh, what now? That was not good enough. Now I can go on to being really successful. And again, it was, the intention was to start, okay, now what are you going to start thinking about with the rest of your life, blah, blah, blah. But that wasn't the time, and it wasn't the tone, because it was, the implication was that monetary success is what matters. And I don't personally subscribe to that. So, I mean, it's monetary stability, and there's nothing wrong with going for of monetary success. So I'm not the other way saying that somebody who is successful financially can't be happy either, because that's not the case. But tying up the idea of success in money, I think, is problematic. So you can be successful and have money, and you can also be unsuccessful and have money, in my opinion. You can be successful without a lot of money, and you can be very unsuccessful and not have a lot of money. It's to do more with your attitude, and it's to do more with how you feel in the position that you are in, and what you're doing with those that situation that you're in. Is more to me about success than the actual money. So I guess that would be my point, is that I think that finances and money need to be removed from the arena of success. It may be the fallout or a benefit of success, but it isn't the success in and of itself. As well as the opposite, failure, not having money may be a fallout of being unsuccessful, but it also may be a choice in which it is just part of the nature of what you're choosing to do. So that would be my biggest lecture, is that these two things should not be connected so directly. So they shouldn't be next to each other. Don't put them next to each other. They're going to sit over here for the rest of the way. No. So, for me, when I did, when the smoke had cleared and it had been about a year, and I did have to start thinking more with time resources and such like that. While I now had a lot of time resource that I have not ever had since I, was married and started having children. Michael was my very first child. and was immediately, time became very focused on specific things that were important. And so all of a sudden I did find myself with an excess of time and capital, and what was I going to do with that in a way that is for me successful. So I really did spend some time thinking about that, not in terms of finances, but in terms of what do I want to do with the rest of my life. So when I did decide that what I have to, and I've had videos on this, but when I did decide that reading tarot, holding space for people, all of this, everything that encompasses what I've been working on for the last year, when I realized, that's what I want to do. Like, this is something that I want to do. And do I want to be able to make money at it, to be able to pay my bills and such? Yes. But the key is that I wanted to be doing something that I enjoyed doing, that made me fulfilled, and that eventually might also be able to pay all my bills. If that's great. But no matter what, it would be something that I could do because my job doesn't take 40 hours a week. So I needed to be doing something else. Do I go get a traditional 9-to-5 job and punch the clock, even though I haven't done that for so long? The idea of it made me cringe just because it's just my personality type. So the idea that I could do something that I enjoyed, that gave me a sense of fulfillment, that could also contribute and allow me to stay home and keep the lifestyle that I enjoyed, even though that might mean keeping my financial lifestyle more simple, I was okay with that. I've been living like that for quite some time, and very strictly like that, for 3 or 4 years at that time. And so I can live with the limited or the tight resources, financial resources, but I wanted to be able to use my time resources in a way that was fulfilling to me, something that I enjoyed. And so that is where In the Truth and Story was born. So for me, success is about finding what it is that is fulfilling to you and being able to utilize that in a way that you are gaining the resources. If we're talking about jobs, we all need to pay bills. That's a factor of life. But is also rewarding in some way. Now, it may be that your job is paying the bills, and that's okay with you, but that you have to find something else in your spare time, in your weekends, that is fulfilling to you, and that's okay. Everybody's different in how they view success and how they view what works for them and what makes them fulfilled. And so for me, success is more about that even energy exchange, that I'm giving out energy, but I'm also receiving energy. I'm not feeling like I am giving more than I'm getting, and that kind of thing. I'm feeling drained, and I can't stand to go next to my job, and I can't stand my life, and all this kind of thing. Like, I'm in seeking a balance that is fulfilling. And also, again, it's not that I don't want my bills to be paid. I do want my bills to be paid. I just want to do it in a way that is fulfilling to me, because I have spent a lot of my life doing what is in my opinion successful, which is raising 2 children to adulthood as decent, interesting, loving, kind human beings, smart, intelligent, beautiful. Yes, I am a little bit biased, but human beings, and that to me is a huge success. And so there's not a lot that, AKA probably nothing, that can outshine that. So in a sense, that's a good thing, because I feel like, okay, I've made 2 human beings, right? And not on my own. It's it's a community effort, blah blah blah. But regardless, I consider them my projects, and they turned out beautifully. And so I already feel like I'm successful. I've had that biggest success kind of thing. And so now what I want is, to continue to do something that is also going to be very fulfilling to me. So that, for me, I think that, let's be honest, and I know all of these have been, all this month, the Lenormarches had been tinged a little bit with difficult topics or surrounding Michael and his death and these kinds of things. I probably wasn't thinking that out very well to have the Lenormand month in March. But that's okay, because that's one of the things that Lenormand is good for, is touching on the realities of life. I really do believe that it is like that, and so I'm just rolling with it. But, you know, when you go, and all of us have been there, and there's not very many people who go through life that are not touched with hard times. You guys talk to me all the time about them. You share with me, you listen to me, and you share with me. And I know that there are, you know, the majority, if not all of the people that are out in there listening to any of this are there because they have also been hit by sorrow. They've been hit and, you know, lived through and live with difficulties as all of us do. And when you really come out the other end of a difficult time, however long that may be, but especially when it's a long running difficulty, when you come out the other end, I do believe that your idea of success is often very changed. Your idea of all kinds of things is changed because you have this bar that says what is important and what's not. And that affects what then is successful and what is not. So we learn these things, all of us do, just by being human beings. We learn all about this kind of thing. So there we go, rambling again about my idea of success. But for me, success is found in fulfillment. Wherever it is that fulfills you, that doesn't leave you drained and feel like you've been sucked dry by a vampire, there you will find some degree of success. Don't let people tell you that it's tied with money. Okay, so I really don't have a big tip for today because I have been running around and doing such and not thinking too much. But I'm going to do, Miss Brenda has gotten a beautiful deck, a Lenormand deck that she posted a picture of on the Facebook group. And she was asking, like, oh, what could she do with the full moon? Because tonight is a gorgeous full moon. Actually, I think it came up this early this morning, but I consider it to be tonight. It's when I'll be doing my full moon readings. And so she'd ask, well, what could we do for full moon readings? And Mr. Lunar had suggested, you know, doing a 9 card, which I thought was a great idea with her deck because she wanted to talk to her deck. But I am going to go ahead and do it with the moon. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And just see what this full moon has. I believe it's full moon in Libra, which is my birth sun. Oops, I did something wrong. Well, we don't need this extra one. Okay. Let's get this where we can see it. And we got the key showing up, so that's good. Success. Success here and matters of the heart. And heart knowledge. I like the idea of those two. I do like this heart card a lot. So I like the success with heart knowledge. That success comes from heart knowledge. Because that kind of, to me, it speaks of fulfillment, right? But of course, I know I'm probably a little biased right now because I just talked about that. But heart knowledge is that sense of things that would fulfill you at the heart level. So I do quite like that. We have a commitment despite adversity. And we have great... Look at this, we have an anchor. So when our work, the stars is about our stars rising and going towards our destiny. So when our work is tied to destiny, it brings along great happiness and success. So look at there, just what I was talking about, which is probably a perfect example of how you can make things work if you try too hard. But I do quite like this message about success when looking at, and the moon for me is about the heart business. This is the side business card for me, although it's also about the intuition and following our intuition. Look at how beautiful that is with the nun there and the 3 swords in the heart. I think it's beautiful, and so I do think it actually works. So I'm just going to leave it at that because I think I'm a little slap happy, and I'm going to try to get some sleep tonight, and I hope you all have some sleep tonight. Of course, it is a full moon, and I'm quite, I I'm quite zinged up on full moon, so I think that is contributing to my bouncing around kind of feeling. But so here we have it. I'm going to end this. Goodbye.